Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
Today we're going to talk about the cost of the Children's Hospital. It has rose by 65% in 1 year. Off you go.
Yes, just a little bit of background about the Children's Hospital for those that are now hearing about the cost, overrun, etc. Prior to this business of a new Children's Hospital, there was already the Temple Street Children's Hospital in the city, already established, I think run by nuns initially, but now under lay control. And then you had the National Children's Hospital in Crumlin, which gave sterling service down the years and appeared to be a great hospital. As a matter of fact, at Christmas time there used to be, before RTE lost a sort of reason for their licence fee, they used to have programmes in the Children's Hospital in Crumlin and the Temple Street. I had a brother spent a couple of years at Temple Street and visiting, and they were great. So they were already established and doing the work of children's hospitals. Now, for some strange reason that I find kind of the sort of incompetence that this government particularly seems to suffer from, and that is that when you have two children's hospitals doing a good job, they proceeded to entertain under O'Reilly, James O'Reilly. You probably forget about him, but he was the Minister for Health and he was Dr. James O'Reilly. So you would think that he would know something about hospitals, etc., and about why you might need something new. It's a bit like if you have a house that's quite adequate for yourself, and for some reason or other you want to build a house at fast expense so that you can step into it and be in the manner that you like to be accustomed. If you get that picture. So this is the business about hospital, this children's hospital, that now it seems to be costing what I call lottery money. In other words, whatever figure you like, O'Reilly, when he was Minister for Health, threw a figure into the pot of 600 million. And I remember saying to myself at the time, as an experienced person, if you've got two children's hospitals, well, increase the facilities there, for example. Why go building a new one and then knocking them down or whatever to do with them? What's the idea of such a stupid thing? That's my first opinion on the business of this new hospital.
So O'Reilly said in 2012 it would be 650 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 650 million doesn't grow on trees, and obviously it's a lot of money. But the thing is, I think they started spending money at the Mater Hospital site. They seem to want to build, suppose there's a site in O'Connell Street, perhaps they'd hop it in there. You wouldn't know what to do, but the fact of building a children's hospital in already an overcrowded facility, and it was going to go up sky high, so you nearly could have a view of Dublin right, left and centre if it had went there. So they spent a lot of money on that in O'Reilly's time. And then experts were suggesting that they need to go to a greenfield site where at least you could build from scratch in a site where there would be plenty of room to expand and also for parking for people that have to visit. A place that was acceptable. Even some people have suggested that they could have built it in like a Mullingar or someplace like that, while a lot of the people are in Dublin, but you would get to Mullingar sometimes quicker than you can get from Stillorgan into the centre of the city. If you're driving, it could take you half the day. So let's face it, this government, this prudent government we're told, decided to build a children's hospital in city centre sites that only a very foolish person would decide to do. So the cost now of this National Children's Hospital, the word national, so that means it affects people not just in Dublin but throughout the country. Now how they're going to get to James Street is a mystery to me, because it's, I wouldn't like chance going to it, because it's a congested area, narrow streets, etc. Now, so if you wanted to pick a site, the worst site you could pick, it would be James's Hospital. I recall years ago the pressure in James Street was the lowest in the country. You had to have extra pumps in order to even fit a glass washer, an automatic glass washer to a pub or any business premises. Now that was James Street years ago. Low pressure, low water pressure. So they're building this National Hospital for Children in that place, and already from 600 million to say it might come in at 1.7 billion. When the RTE media reported it, to keep showing some kind of a diagram as if like it's going to look like that with people driving and walking about. It looks like a Walt Disney type of building, to my way of thinking. and then when you see the actual thing, it looks like a hole in the ground, going down an awful distance, and I think as far as I can see it's full of water at the moment. So they picked that site, the government, with their wisdom, which nobody in their right mind would pick, and of course it's going to be astronomical. They'll be looking to get it built at 2 billion, because it will probably cost a lot more aside altogether from the inconvenience of people trying to get to it to visit their children. How it doesn't bear thinking about. Some TDs now and spokespeople have suggested, and they're having arguments about the cost overrun and all the rest of it. Like it's to me it's absolutely crazy, because with the cost of that, there'll be a lot of other things that's most important being put on the shelf. We already have 100,000 people last year stuck on trolleys or chairs waiting to get a bed. Nothing seems fit for purpose, and this children's hospital that they decided to build, when there was already 2 children's hospitals, they could have built maybe a more purposeful one in a greenfield site to augment the 2 children's hospitals that was already there. They must have great facilities, so what are they going to do with those facilities? They're going to get a whole heap of new ones. I think it's time for people to sort of question the veracity of a government that would embark on such an undertaking at vast expense. And so I think they should be questioned, and that project should be stopped forthwith.
They said that there was an underestimate of materials added to the cost, and that it was 115 million, but I'd like to know who was the quantity surveyor.
Well,
that's a big mistake.
Is there such a thing as a quantity surveyor? We'd say there was 20 of them. Is there such a thing as a person able actually to quantify what the like of that site might entail? As far as I can see, they've gone down about 4 stories into the ground. Now whether they're going to have something down there, where I call going down towards hell, it looks like hell to me. Looking at it, it looks like what I call a bomb site. To think that it's going to wind up as a children's hospital is optimism over reality. As far as I'm concerned, it's not fit for purpose and never will be. They had no right to embark on such an undertaking at such a site. They had a right to keep the hospitals they have and build a more reasonable facility at far less cost than even 600 million. They would have equipment and special facilities so that if children in Temple Street or Crumlin needed the sort of support, they could go there. Instead of closing perfectly good hospitals that are already going to do a good job, and treat them as if they never did anything when they were excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you think, it crossed my mind that, do you think they're taking advantage of the fact that it's a children's hospital, and they feel that maybe we can get away with putting on another 500 million because the public will put up with it because it's a kids' hospital?
It could very well be that, the same as they did these referendums and called them something other than what they were. When they brought in abortion, they called it something about Amendment 8. So that's meaningless to an awful lot of people. What the hell are they talking about Amendment 8? So if it's causing problems, they'll get rid of it. So they didn't know they were going to open the floodgates for people to go in and get abortion up to birth. So this is the crowd now that's building a children's hospital at astronomical cost, when there was no need for it, because already 2 children's hospitals hospitals are they're quite adequately for the people that was there. Going back to even when my brother, Lord Mersham, died quite young, he had a heart condition, and he was there for a couple of years and very well looked after. And I remember visiting him, and I think we have a photograph somewhere of him sitting there, and he's happy looking as Larry. So this is my view, that even when they proposed it, I thought, well, have they won the lottery, have they come into funds that it doesn't matter what it costs, it won't be a burden on taxpayers. I think that this crowd shouldn't be looking after the health service at all. It should be perhaps handed over to somebody that knows how to do it.
So when you look at the costs and how badly the government got it wrong, okay?
Yeah.
How can the government solve the nurses' strike if they can't look after money?
Well,
they can't manage money.
But they can't manage the whatever they turn their hand to. It seems to be a disaster, to my way of thinking. They're bringing in abortion, and it's going to cost nothing. And they're offering hundreds to all concerned to come from abroad, wherever they want to come, for nothing. So they're opening the, shall we say, we won't call it the tourist market and give assistance, but they're opening it to all comers. Now, this is a corrupt, incompetent administration, and they have no right to give themselves plaudits, and the media should wake up from the slumber that they seem to be suffering under and call a spade, and call them into account, even for entertaining the idea of what they call a National Children's Hospital, when we already have two good ones that have served the state very well. Build a facility that would look after the ones that might need specialised treatment from those two hospitals at far less cost in a greenfield site like Blatcherstown, and maybe for 100 million, and that's a lot of money.
So given that they've got it so wrong with the figures, they're out by about 500 million as far as I can see. Do you think they should go ahead with the hospital?
Not at all. They should. They've made a bags of the blinking thing. They spent money in the Mater Hospital. Now here they are. They're after spending a fortune so far, and all I see is a big hole in the ground. But when you see it in the RTE, they're showing some kind of a thing, you swear to God that it was going to just spring up and be like what they are showing, which of course it won't. I mean, and they're putting all this new equipment in. New equipment often needs the time to settle in and often gives fault. And they're putting in millions of computers when during my late wife's period they couldn't send a blood result from one major hospital, Blanchester or Beaumont, over to the Mater Hospital where she was due for something, and when we arrived they hadn't got the blood test no matter what you could do, so they couldn't even do that because it was something against the data protection business. So they're not fit for purpose in my view, and this is an example of the incompetence of this government, and the sooner they got out with the new parties the better.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much.